Hi, it's Pete Posner from Big Break English, and in my last video we looked at ways to give explanations in IELTS Speaking Part 3, and today we're going to look at ways of making suggestions in IELTS Speaking Part 3. So take a look at this question. What kind of language can you use to answer the following question on the topic of social media? Here goes. What can we do to prevent people from offending others on social media? Now notice at the beginning of this question, what can we do to? So if you get a question that starts in this way, the examiner is inviting you to make suggestions. Let's take a look at a few options for this. Okay, so first, it would be a good idea to so a few things to look at here in the pronunciation. First, the word idea. The stress is on the second syllable, idea. And idea starts with a vowel sound. And in the previous word good, it finishes in a consonant sound. So we have this link, this connection. So it's good idea to good idea to. Now, another interesting thing that happens here is that actually between the words be and we actually add a sound. Listen for it. Be a good idea to. Be a good idea to. So I don't know if you heard the y that was added there. There's a little rule for this. When one word ends in I, E, A, or oi sound, and the next word begins in a vowel sound, we add y to make the connection smoother. So we've got here the vowel sound E followed by another vowel sound and therefore we add y to make the connection smoother. So it's be a good idea to. And finally, just be careful with would. Make sure you don't pronounce the L. It doesn't actually sound. It's would. Okay, so altogether, it would be a good idea to. Okay, then we've got one idea would be to, again, would. So the L doesn't sound. Again, we've got idea, stress on the second syllable, and we've got another case of a word ending in a consonant sound, n, and then the following word beginning with a vowel sound. So this also links. One idea would be to. And finally here we have one thing we could do would be to, again, could, would. The L doesn't, the L doesn't sound. Okay, and all these are followed by the verb in the base form. Let's see how that works. Examples. It would be a good idea to, or one idea would be to close the accounts of users who are offensive on social media. Okay, close is your verb in the base form. Second example, one thing we could do would be to teach the responsible use of social media in schools. Okay, so again, here you've got the base form that follows these phrases. In this case, teach. Okay, a few more useful phrases. I think we could, so again, don't pronounce the L. I believe we should, okay, so should, also don't pronounce the L. And we've got the link between the consonant sound V and W. So it's, I believe we should, and the stress is on the second syllable of the word believe. I believe we should. And a third case is, I think we ought to notice again, we've got this sound that's added, this y sound, because we've got, again, E, vowel sound, followed by or, vowel sound, right? E and or. So we're going to add y to make that connection smoother. So it's, I think we ought to, and these also are followed by the verb in its base form. Let's see how that works with a couple more examples. I think we could, or I believe we should have tougher laws on the use of abusive language online. Okay, so have is the base form here. And the fourth example, I think we ought to educate young people about the importance of respecting others. Okay, so the base form is educate. And finally, a couple more phrases. How about, so here, about, stress on the second syllable, and we got were followed by so that those two sounds link together. How about, in the same way that about, second syllable stress, and consonant sound links with the beginning of the following word, which is a vowel sound. So it's what about, and these are followed by the verb with ing, or the gerund. Let's take a look at a couple of examples. How about banning pseudonyms on social media platforms? So here we've got the verb in its base form is ban, right? So here we're going to, in fact, double that consonant sound. Sorry, double the consonant letter and add ing. Here we double the consonant because of this pattern consonant, vowel, consonant. So when you have this pattern, you double the consonant at the end of the word. So it's banning with ing. How about banning pseudonyms on social media platforms? And the sixth and final example for today. What about monitoring posts on social networks more closely? Okay, so here monitor is the verb in its base form, and we're going to add the gerund. We're going to form the gerund adding ing. So it's monitoring. What about monitoring posts on social networks more closely? Okay, so those are some ways of making suggestions in IELTS Speaking Part 3. And next time we're going to look at ways of making predictions, making future predictions. Some questions will invite you to do this. So we're going to look at ways of doing that. Okay, so I hope that was useful and see you next time.